this?
Welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
Welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
Boom.
Boom. Happy Thursday. Us three are back. Tom, welcome back after getting a ball and chain tied around your ankle. How you feeling, mate?
All right, mate. Just a little bit heavier.
Yep.
Oh,
that doesn't change, mate. That doesn't change. That's all.
To be honest, mate, nothing has changed. I still have no room in the wardrobe. You still have to sort the toothpaste out, and the dishwasher's always full, and I have to empty it. So nothing's actually changed.
oh, it will. Welcome to the dark side.
Mate, it will. It will. It will. It will get back. How are you, Andy? All good?
I'm very well, mate. Yes, happy to be on the show. Happy to have Tom back. And congratulations, Tom and Charlotte, for the getting married. And may you have a wonderful life together, just as you're having a wonderful life with us too.
Mate, thank you for your card. That was awesome.
You're very welcome, my brother. Welcome.
The chat's been buzzing already. We've got Darren and Poptimus. Evening, gents. We have the one and only, the sexiest nerdiverse that I know. It's Phil's Nerdiverse. Good afternoon. Good evening, lads. We've got Mr. Chris Bell. Got the day right this week. Chilling in my silk Y-fronts, ready for an evening of expensive paper. Let's do this. And Chris Bell's Scotty Predator cover, by the way, is top notch. Then we've got some sexy chat going forward between Perpetual and Tom. Then we've got a question. Who is the dude at the bottom? He's back.
What's up,
He's
Darren?
bringing sexy back. And then we've got everyone's favourite miniature superhero. It's Panels and a Half Pint. There he is. Evening, peeps. Welcome back, Tom. And he's tanned. And he is very, very tanned. Yes,
It's the Jippo skin, mate.
It is the Jippo skin. It is the Jippo skin. So, it's so good to have you back. The three of us, the three amigos are back. James was an absolute stellar fill-in. I've got to be honest. He was awesome.
Mate, he did a grand job. I caught some of the show last week, the week before. I thought, yeah, he did a stellar job. To be fair, I felt like I was not needed to come back. To be honest,
guys, wait a minute. He was okay. Like he was no Tom.
He's tipped his toe. He's tipped his toe back in, mate. He'll be back.
Panels and Pints will be resurrected if it's the
killer
last time.
Panels and Pints.
Maybe. Evening, Leon Russell. How are you doing, sir? Thank you very much for joining. So, not much has been going on this week, but we've got some comics to review. We've got some killer keys. We've got some indies, pickups, and everything like that. So, guys, how do we want to play this? Do you want to do your pickups, or do you want to get straight into the reviews? I'm at the moment two sexy men. So
listen, believe it or not, guys, I don't have a lot of pickups. How rude! I don't have a lot of pickups. I reckon we should maybe get into some of the killer covers and let the good people decide who's the best, and then we can maybe tickle their fancy with some pickups. How does that sound?
That sounds absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. So before we do that, I'm just going to let everyone know again that the Killer Comic Show, we now have a dedicated Instagram and Twitter. You can follow it over on Instagram.com/The Killer Comic Show and Twitter.com/The Killer Comic Show. We've changed the YouTube URL as well. It's now YouTube.com/The Killer Comic Show. No more of this Geeky Guy Comics Bitcoin shenanigans. I've got a new Instagram. It's @GeekyGuyComics_. That's it. None of this. My name's Catherine or Karen trying to sell you Bitcoin.
Well, I didn't realise you joined the police force, mate. I was about to send you 500 quid for your service.
Instagram are doing all they can possibly not to sort the situation. That's not going to happen. So I'm onwards and upwards. I'm nearly at my new 100. We've still got a long way to go, but it's all good. But yeah, the Killer Comic Show. We've got a new Instagram. We've got a new Twitter. So that will be dedicated to killer indies, killer pickups, killer trades, FOC, killer covers, and everything. We'll be pushing everything out through that and Twitter and everything like that. So well done to Andy and just Andy for sorting all that out. Me and Tom have just been quietly sitting in the background while the man is sitting there doing that. But yeah,
I literally sit in the background and make intros. That's what I do. I literally sit back there with my little hobgoblin. Me and Tim just making intros.
It's fair to say that with this new Instagram, with the new Twitter, with the updated YouTube URL, and the website that's going to be coming, yes, you heard it here. There is a website on its way. I think if we weren't taking it seriously before, guys, I think we're maybe stepping up a gear. I think we're getting into second gear now. Is it fair to say?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, definitely. Why not? We've got the merch coming as well. So yeah, it's big things. Yes, yeah, so it's all gonna things happen for a reason, and I think this has happened for that reason. But you wanted to get into covers. Let's do it.
It's going to be a tasty one. It's a tasty one this week.
You know what? It's going to be a tasty one. We got Killer Covers June 29th, which was obviously yesterday, new comic book day, week number 26. Let's get straight into it. Up first, we have...
This is my pick, ladies and gents. This is Harley Quinn, issue number 16, by the fantabulous Souza Micah, arguably cover artist of the year. This is the Virgin variant cover B. And I love this. And I was kind of a sneaky about this one because I know that Charlie specifically has a little bit of a penchant for Harley Quinn. So I was sort of playing. Did you like the penchant? I was sort of playing to Charlie there. And I just think that this is a beautiful cover. I think the background makes it absolutely pop. I think Souza Micah has something really special with regards to how it's like almost like the light shining on the material. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think the face is great. I think the eyes are stunning. And for me, it just really popped. And it's kind of got that sort of like 60s vibe about it with her hair and stuff like that. It's kind of a nice original take on Harley Quinn, as opposed to, the normal animated series type take that we normally see. So, yeah, this is my killer cover. Boys, what do you think?
I've got to say, I really like the way that Souza's made Harley Quinn look like a porcelain doll. No,
are you being facetious?
No, I'm not. Like, if you look at her, she looks like a porcelain doll. Like, I quite like that because I'm not being funny. I'm a massive Harley Quinn fan, and if you hadn't have got there before me, I would have picked this. And I think we both know that I would have gone for Harley. But yeah, it's a great cover. Like, I really do think it's great.
Chris Bell, you're one comment away from getting booted, boy.
Yes,
you know what? He's had a couple of wins. He's had a couple of giveaways, and I think
he's got those silk pants on. He's smoking that cigar. And he can just take.
They've gone to his head. I think they've gone to his head, and it is. And I think Optimus is right. It is crazy money for them covers.
The Jason Campbell ones, yeah.
It is indeed.
Not cheap.
But yeah, so Andy, that's your pick. Thomas?
Yeah, so I've gone for, again, Harley Quinn issue 16. It's the same as Andy, but I've gone for the Oliver Copielli one. This is for Pride Month. It's cover C. So it is available without having to go to any special comic shop to buy it. This you can get it from your regular orders. I like this one specifically because it's a watercolor. And I just have a real thing for watercolor drawings. And again, like Andy said about the last one, I love the way that he's made the trousers look like they are leather. Like they're not, it's not, it doesn't look like they're matte painted. They literally look like leather. And he's done really well with the watercolors to make it look 3D. It's quite hard to do that with watercolors. So that's why I really like it. And I love the flag. I think the flag's really cool. I just think it's really, really, really cool cover. And I think he's really captured Harley Quinn's kind of essence in this picture. But yeah, so what do you guys think?
It's got a nice fun vibe about it. I like the vibe about this cover. And I think it could have been definitely a definite winner for Peach of the Week as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. If we were still doing it.
Peach of the Week. If we were still doing it. If we were still allowed to do it.
Yeah.
To be fair, any Harley Quinn is a winner. So either of one of your two is a deserved win in my book. I'm just annoyed that I didn't get to pick this beforehand. But you two were off the mark. You two
To be
were
fair,
off.
in your defense, Charlie, and Andy's defense, I did do all of these slides nearly 3 weeks ago because I was going away. So I picked my covers well in advance. So I apologise that I got there first.
I literally just realised that it's a flag that she's waving. You know, one of those.
Yeah.
Big, yeah.
But you know what's really nice about it is he's followed his own brushstroke. So the flag is essentially a massive brushstroke, and if you look hard enough, you can see he's followed his own brushstroke to make a flag.
Right, stop selling it. You're
Just
right,
think.
but stop selling it.
But yeah, no, it does look great.
He's back.
It is a really, really good cover. So yeah, so that's your pick for Harley Quinn 16, Oliver Coipel. And I've gone for it was really slim picking, so I couldn't have gone for the two that I wanted. So I had to go for the Iron Man Hellcat Annual Issue #1. This is the 1 in 100 Art Germ Virgin variant. I actually really quite like this. Now that I've picked it, I kind of looked at it. I was going to go for the Harley Quinn Catwoman thing that I kind of sent through in a group chat. And I was like, yep, I'm going to go for this. And then I kind of got your backs up and you were like, don't like that. So then I went for this. But I quite like this. I like the fact that the Hellcat's like ripping through the page and then you can see like Iron Man underneath. And I do love an Art Germ cover. I'm not going to lie. I do really, really like an Art Germ cover. And I think like the way that he's used the colours in this really make it pop. And I wasn't going to read this comic, but I probably will based on this cover.
It's a clever cover. I really like it. My only criticism is she's absolutely hench on that one arm. My arm is stupidly defined.
Massive.
Yeah.
But I really like it. I love how she's cut through it. And I like the fact that if you follow the cuts, they actually do follow her fingers. It's really cleverly done. Mm-hmm. It's not like he's done the fingers and then done the slices afterwards and they don't quite match up. They actually match up, which is amazing. I like that.
I reckon it would have been quite cool if they'd have made this like I don't know if this is going to be like cardstock or whatever. I doubt it because it's Marvel, but if you lifted that cover and it was actually another cover behind it with Iron Man, so you could put it, that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, no, it's another Art Germ cover. I mean, I think the only thing is it's a 1 in 100. You know, we're talking about expensive covers here. This is going to cost you at least 80 quid to pick this one up. And is it a 1 in 100 quality cover? Because it feels as if we've seen it before.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say so. So yeah, that's my cover. So we've got the comments. We've got Chris Bell. I don't like that at all. Tom, I'm rooting for you. Crazy money. Crazy money for those covers. We've got Mr. Hobgoblin himself. Tim, welcome, sir. Darren has said that Maker is better than Frisson. Oh, Andy.
Oh, controversial.
I didn't realise it was a competition, but thanks, Don.
We've got Cock of the Walk. Nope, Charlie, rooting for you, dude. Sorry, Tom, you've been pushed to one side. Panels and a half pint and a watercolour derriere is always quality. Gets my vote. Poptimus says Shiny Peach. That's more my thing. And seen it before, says Mr. Frisson.
Tom, did I upset you this week or something? What's the crack?
I feel like the insults. I come back for one show and the insults are flying around to everybody. What's going on, guys? What's happened? Where's the love? What's happened?
So, right, there we go. So the vote is up now. Is it going to be mine? Is it going to be Tom's? Or is it going to be Andy? As usual, this vote will run till the end of the show. Show. In the covers.
Boom.
What do we want to do now? Do you want to do some reviews or do you want to do some killer pickups? You decide.
Reviews.
Sweet. Okay. Right. So we are coming on to
reviews.
Week 25 reviews, which was last week. So, Andy, you went for a DC number. You went for Black Adam issue #1. I went for Nocterra issue #11. Tom went for Something is Killing the Children issue #24. And then just because I just threw in the silver coin issue #11, just because it was written by James Tynion and it is art by Michael Wolff. So I just threw that in there because, I love a bit of silver coin. Up first, we have Tom.
Me, yay! I'm glad I'm back. I had to read out all the covers. Brilliant. Right, so my choice was Something's Killing the Children issue 25, written by James Tynion and artwork by Wether Dell'Edra. Main covers by Dell'Edra. Incentive cover is a 1 in 25. I believe that is also by Dell'Edra. The Jenny Frison cover is the die cut variant, and then you've got the unlockable variant for the Jenny Frison as well, where he removes the masks off the main dragon dude. Is there any more, Charlie, or is that it?
No, that was it.
So this book came out last week, and it is the continuation of Something's Killing the Children, which is an amazing series, well worth picking up. This particular book is following a new character, this new girl that Erica's come across, and she's trying to help her. And you also get to see a bit more about the House of Slaughter are now sending a new professional to hunt down Erica, because Erica's not sticking to the rules. So Erica's going out essentially still killing monsters, but she's doing it without the permission of the St. George's house, is it? The House of St. George. So they're sending out this professional to basically take her out, but she's trying to help this little girl and this police officer. This book in particular, this week, this month even, I think was probably the slower one of the books going forward in this story. But this is my thing with picking something like this to do on the show as a review, is on the whole, Something's Killing the Children is a phenomenal read. But if you just take one book and read it and haven't read any of the others, or, come to it and have to read all the others, it can be a bit disjointed, I'd say. Yeah. So luckily for me, I hadn't read issue 2020 to 24. So when I was on holiday, I read all 4 in one go, which really, really helped. And it made it so the story made more sense. Everything was better. But today, when I was going through it, trying to find panels to help for the show, I found it very difficult to remember where I'd got to and what had actually happened in this particular issue. In this particular issue, you get revealed the actual monster that is hunting the children that Erica is currently looking after. So you get that revealed in this one. You get a little bit more of a backstory on the girl who she's helping. I can't remember her name, though. That's really going to annoy me. But my particular love for this book is there's a couple of panels with the girl where she goes home to find, to see her pet, like where it all happened, where her parents got killed and everything went wrong for her. And they're silent panels. There's no dialogue. It's just literally her emotions being portrayed by Wether Daria's artwork. And it's absolutely phenomenal. And the way that he's adapted Tynion's writing to just do those panels with Tynion must have said, look, this is what I want the emotion to come across in these panels. And he's drawn them out to show these emotions. And it is absolutely phenomenal. It's fantastic. But like I said, although for me, I would say this is a killer for me. I loved it. I thought it was great. But if you were jumping in at this point, you would be like, what? Well, as a standalone book, you wouldn't want to read it. You'd have to read all the others, which is a bit of a ball ache. If you haven't read any of Something That's Killing Children, you've got to read all 24 issues. However, saying that, there is 24 issues of absolute glory when you get all the way to it. And I really like this second page that I picked, where you get to meet the auntie, where she's already been in it, so you've met her a couple of times. But this is the auntie trying to protect her niece, and she just slams the Tommy gun down on the table and basically threatens Erica. And then Erica calmly is like, "You don't really want to do that, let's be honest." Which is pretty cool. So I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. And the introduction of this new character that they brought in that's coming to hunt Erica, I think it's going to be really interesting, because she's come from a different house. So I'm guessing that she's going to be explained in the House of Slaughter book going alongside this at some point. But she's technically an assassin, but she's not quite right. Like she's totally tapped. So I'm looking forward to see where that goes. What did you guys think?
Andy?
A little bit like you, Tom. I haven't been keeping up with Something That's Killing the Children. When I looked on my iPad, the last issue that I'd read was issue number 16, so just at the start of the new arc. Yeah. So I thought it was going to be an absolute pain to have to read through all those issues to catch up. But a little bit like yourself, it was actually a real pleasure to read through all the issues. And I, like you, find it quite difficult once you've read more than one issue to make a review of just the issue that we're talking about, because you've kind of been tainted by all the other issues. I would say that this issue, it was inevitable with such a long run and such a successful run that James Tynion was going to have like an issue or two that was going to be one of those ones where it's kind of a light on the action and kind of a heavy on the narrative and evolving the story. This wasn't a filler comic by any stretch of the imagination. You need this comic in the run to set up the story and to give you a lot of context. And it feels as if this was used to sort of give a little bit of focus on the beast that Erica's now hunting, which, guys, I don't know about you, but it was probably more scarier than the previous ones that she's been hunting, just because it's got that more human aspect.
I was going to say that human aspect to it is what caught me out, definitely.
I think it's definitely a more relatable monster, and it's obviously got that thing in the middle of its stomach, which looks like the sort of Lord of the Rings Eye of Sauron, which I absolutely loved, and it was obviously on cover A. What I really liked about this issue is the fact that she's not only battling the monsters, but she's battling the House of Slaughter as well, because you have the character out who seems an absolute bad biatch, who wants to go and obviously kill Erica. So you can see what it's leading to. It's going to culminate in, is it going to be like the monster, Erica, and this other character whose name escapes me? Because I think that's just going to be absolutely fantastic, whatever it's leading to. I love the suspense in this, and I think that having read these 8 issues, it's got me back on that sort of something that's killing the children train, and that's what I love about this show, because you miss loads of issues and you forget about it, and then you get dragged back in, whether you like it or not, kicking and screaming. And I'm so glad that this was picked on, because I really enjoyed it, and so much so I think I'm going to go and buy the trades.
Oh mate, that's quality.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So for Charlie, me, this was a killer for me, 100%.
Nice one, Charlie. When you're done, can I make a quick kind of prediction when you finish, when you've done your review?
So I've been like avid following this. Like I've got the trades. I'm up to date with the trades and stuff, and I'm really loving it. Like this character on the left hand panel, I think she's going to be big, because obviously, other than the character that what's her name? Erica. Other than the main character that Erica saved in the first arc, this is probably the most we've seen of another character. Like, so she's kind of, I think she's going to be taken under Erica's wing. Obviously, her auntie's got a bit of bad blood towards anyone that's coming near her. She's seen the death of her mum and dad and stuff, and she's got a bit about her. But then when you go back to like the House of Slaughter and you understand how Erica was, I think Erica sees a bit about herself in this new character.
Yes,
and I think something's going to happen in this. But I mean, Wether Dell'Edra, like, his artwork is just, him and James Tynion have been killing it for 24 issues. Like, there's been no let up. Like, the art has been consistently on point. The story, yeah, obviously within 24 issues, there's going to be 1 or 2 issues where they are fillers, and they kind of just pave the way for something big that's happening. But is it the Oscitura type, or the name of the beast in this? It's a scary shit.
Yeah,
like, this is the scariest the beast has been in a couple of issues, like from probably issue 12 to 13, because it's kind of that silence and that scariness of, I know there's a beast, I know it's hunting kids, but the less you see it, the more you get scared of it. And I think they've been pretty smart with this issue. They flashed it a couple of times and then it's disappeared. Whereas if you look at House of Slaughter, especially issue number 3, for instance, there is a graphic scene at the start where one of these creatures rips a mum and dad apart while the little girl was just watching, and you see it through the eyes of the kid, and the kid, for some reason, the kid can't see what's happening. The kid can't see the monster, which is a flip on this, because kids are the only one that can see the monster. So the House of Slaughter is slowly becoming one of my better stories, because Something's Killing the Children is for the ages. Like, from issues 1 to where we are now has been fantastic. It's a very good read, and it's really good to hear, Andy, you're going to pick up the trade paperbacks. But House of Slaughter, there's only 6 issues, and it's been great. It's honestly, it's on the flip side, it's on the other side of the coin, where you think things ain't going to happen and they do. There's taboo subjects in that, and it's great. So yeah, I'm all for this. I'm still on the SIKTC train. 100% killer for me.
Yeah,
Killer.
Chicken dinner. On what Charlie's just said about the House of Slaughter, what I like about the House of Slaughter, if you read it, because I've caught up with House of Slaughter now whilst I was reading this, and it really does complement Something's Killing the Children, and what James Tynion's doing, expanding the universe with Something's Killing the Children, is bringing loads of brand new characters in, expanding it all out. Now, there's a bit in House of Slaughter where Aaron says to Jace, I'm going to go back and then I'm going to come back to you. Don't go anywhere. Basically, stay where you are. I'm coming to you. And then Jace says to him, if anything happens to you, I'll kill the whole lot of them. So my theory is that this woman that's hunting Erica is going to get to the point where she gets to kill Erica. Jace is going to save Erica. And then there's going to be a fight between Jace and Erica because Erica's the reason that Aaron's dead.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah, House of Slaughter. House of Slaughter is where this is about Erica's journey for the House of Slaughter against like the House of St. George and stuff like that. House of Slaughter is about Jace and Aaron's story of how they've intertwined and how it intersects with like somebody's killing the children. There has to be intersect. There has to be a crossover at some point. It makes perfect sense for there to be a crossover at some point. I think, Tom, you hit the nail on the head with the fact is that this new character that's come in, she's got a screw loose. She's just killed someone in a toilet because she was bad-mouthing her on a plane over from London.
She's called Cutters, apparently.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Cutter,
and the fact is that Jace is kind of like has got a bit of a screw loose and stuff like that. We've seen that when he was introduced in issue number 2 of House of Slaughter. So something's got to kick off. And, yeah, I'm 100% behind it. I'm looking forward to reading it. So.
Do you guys remember the panels where the young character went and was sort of playing with the cat?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That one, and then this one, where it's all silent.
So, and the beauty about that was that was the only part in the whole of this particular issue and the issues that she's been in where she actually showed a little bit of warmth and a little bit of love, and the cat basically just scratches her and draws blood. And that I think that is that was a brilliant metaphor for the life that she's had, where anytime she kind of shows love, she gets struck, whether it be by adults or monsters or whatever. And that was the thing that I took from that. Maybe I was looking a little bit deep into it, but I just if that's what James Tynion was aiming for, I think he absolutely nailed it. And you couldn't imagine this comic not by Wether doing the artwork. He is something that's killing the children.
100%. He's amazing.
So is that 3 killers?
Hell yeah!
Do you know having read those 8 issues, I'm bordering on the 8 issues that I read being like gold, because it was absolute gold. It was enough to drag me back in and look forward to it again. And there's no many comics that can do that, I don't think. So
he tries to get out. We drag him back
in.
Wicked, what a start. So up next we have here we go. So we go from Somebody's Killing the Children, fantastic story. So we go to Andy's pick, which was Black Adam. Andy. Over to you,
I was just gathering myself, I guess, as the best way to describe it. Guys, I'm going to start with the covers. I'm going to start with some good old positivity, because that's what we all need in life. So this is a main cover by Irvin Rodriguez, which is stunning. I love it. The next one up is the 1 in 15 center of the Hammer throwback. Hammer throwback. My screen's that small, I can't see it, and I'm old. So there's a Michael Janin variant cover, and the Lucio Parello. Happy marriage to Lucio as well, getting married. From the Killer Comic Show. Lucio Parello variant cover. This was written by the fantastic Christopher Priest, who is a fantastic writer, and the artwork was by Rafa Sandoval. I picked this up and I was really keen on reading it because I got sucked into the Black Adam movie that's coming up. The Rock's playing the character. I'm sure like everybody else, you've probably seen the trailer. So when I seen this come up, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna come out my lane. And you know what happens when Andy comes out his lane? He
needs to go back in his lane. That's what
literally. Yeah, shit happens and he has to go back into his lane. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick a DC comic and I'm going to go for Black Adam. And whenever I told the guys I was picking it, I could hear their eyes rolling from here. I could literally hear it. And they weren't wrong. Guys, they really weren't wrong. I want, like, if you, I don't know if anybody in the chat read this comic, but if you are going to read it, just like disregard anything and everything that you thought you knew about Black Adam, because I went into this thinking I knew what I was going to come up with, and it's nothing like like the trailer and stuff like that you see. To be fair, it's nothing like the original Black Adam. It all seems to center around activities that have happened in recent modern comics, which I clearly haven't read. So unless you have read them and you know his backstory and you know why he's in this position that he's in, then you're starting in a really difficult position. I don't really know what else to say about this comic. Ultimately, Teth Adam discovers that he's been infected with this sort of incurable plague, and it seems to be destroying his immortality. And that, for me, was the first sort of weird thing, because he started getting this after a confrontation in space with what turned out to be the fake Darkseid. So after maybe 5 or 6 pages, I was a little bit confused. I didn't know what was going on. But during this particular issue, he kind of it looks as if he's going to transfer his powers to a sort of worthy successor in his eyes. And that's where the issue ended. And guys, I'm looking for some help. What is it I missed in this issue that I didn't get? Can somebody fill in the blanks for me?
I'm going to be no help at this because I stopped reading at like page 12. I literally found it.
Wow.
So I honestly, I found it so confusing. Some of the narrative was just all over the place. I think the whole character layout, the whole portrayal of Black Adam, and I just, maybe it's because I haven't read any modern comics with Black Adam in it, but for me, this was just all over the place. I literally lost interest within the first 3 or 4 pages, when you've got some stuck-up twat arguing with the US government. When they start abbreviating, like US RFA.
Stop.
At the start, I was like, I'm done. And then when you're reading a comic and they've got, the panel layouts was really good, but then on the first top right-hand side, you have U.A.A.F, whatever it is, abbreviating, and then underneath on the bottom of the first page, it tells you what it is. When you've got to do that from the first comic and the narrative's all over the place, I've lost interest straight away. Like, the whole thing for me just didn't work. And I'm quite disappointed because Christopher Priest is a great writer. He's a great writer. He's done some fantastic stuff. This, for me, was neither trying to be like the movie or trying to be like the comic book. This was kind of an entity on its own. Didn't enjoy it at all. The best thing about it is the issue number 2 comic cover that you showed on your FOC last week, and the main cover for issue number 1. Other than that, I'm not invested. I won't be picking this up. So this is 100% Shazam binner for me.
I thought, and sorry, Tom, before you jump in, I thought the artwork was, for me, I thought the artwork was great. It's what kept me to the end of this comic. Because, as I say, like, surely if you're an editor of a comic and you're using abbreviations that need to be fully explained in, like, the little star. You know, sometimes when you mention something that's happened in another comic and they did a little star and it happened in such and such issue. Yeah. I get that. I understand that. So you can go back and have a look. But I don't like the American Foreign Direct Investment, or the FDI as they used. It's like, you know what? It's just they're not making it easy to enjoy this book. I'm not invested. I certainly wouldn't be looking at issue number 2. And I just wonder if there's any Black Adam fans that maybe are watching the rewind or in the chat. Like, I was just wondering if I was missing something. Is this the Black Adam that everybody goes for and what we have to expect? Or was I just, you know, it just wasn't for me? So, Tom, what do you think?
Well, I had the same as you. I saw the book. I saw you send it to us. I thought, oh, awesome. I'm really excited about the Dwayne Johnson movie because I'll watch anything with Dwayne in it. It doesn't matter how shit it is. I'll watch it with Dwayne and I'll entirely love it. Now, I'm one of those kind of guys. I'll read absolutely anything and watch anything and probably enjoy it when no one else will. However, the artwork for this, I thought, was great. I really enjoyed the artwork. I thought it was really well drawn. I think you can see some serious skill in the artist. Some of the stuff is amazing. I mean, look at these panels. They're incredible. I mean, the artwork is really detailed. It's really, really good. The colorist makes the whole thing like pop and stuff, but that's basically it. I have no idea what happened in this book. I don't know who any of the characters are. As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I can remember, Black Adam was an Egyptian god, as it were, something to do with Egypt. And I didn't quite get that from this until a bit much later on in the book, which by that point I'd lost all interest.
Yeah.
I did get to the end of it. I did manage to finish the book, but I still, like you, Andy, have no idea what it was about, who it was for, or whether or not this is the Black Adam that I should be reading about. But in my opinion, and I'm hoping that you all got the same thing from this, for me, all I can see on this is DC going, we've got a movie coming out.
Yeah.
Let's make a cash cow. Let's just get everyone on the first issue. We'll sell a shitload of the first issue. It doesn't matter if they buy all 12, because they'll buy the first one because they got the movie coming out. And that's exactly what I think this is. It's a cash cow.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think there's not many comics that after one issue, well, I tell a lie, there has been a couple that we've reviewed, but that you can't see yourself. You don't want to read issue number 2.
No.
I couldn't even say that I'm intrigued to find out if it gets better, because the characters weren't likable. I was really disappointed knowing like some of Christopher's work and stuff like that. And I just don't know where this went, or where it's possibly going. And I know probably we'll miss out in issue 2, 3, and onwards, and it'll probably be absolutely fantastic. But I'm guys, consider me going back into my lane, and apologies.
Well, I literally from the start, I just didn't want to read it. Like I just didn't. I kind of had this preconception that it was going to try and be something to do with a movie and it weren't going to work, or it was going to try and be something else. For me, the artwork didn't even do it for me. Like it's great art, but even that didn't keep me. The art's amazing, but it didn't keep me engaged enough to want to read the comic. Like I think after it literally just didn't, and it's such a shame because I feel like you've got two people that can do fantastic art and write. And it's just a cash cow. And I think they've sold themselves down the river with this, because this was absolutely shit.
I'm just wondering, like, I don't know if it was because I don't know anything or very little about Black Adam that didn't help either. I'm just wondering if it was like, Superman, or if it was like I don't know. Was it just that it was a poorly written story and it doesn't matter who the character is?
Well, this is my problem with it, because in my opinion, what DC should have done with this book is it's an issue 1 of Black Adam. It was it's their opportunity to get people who have nothing to do with Black Adam or know anything about him, grab them before the movie. For me, I have no idea what Black Adam is about. I still have no idea about what Black Adam was all about, and I can't care less. So they've lost me straight away.
Yeah,
wow.
No, I've got to.
I think
it is a shame, and like Andy, you've picked.
It really is.
The 2 panels that were the best thing about this comic, and as I mentioned, other than the covers, no. And I think
arguably though, Charlie, it did start really well. I thought like, especially those panels with Darkseid and stuff. I thought, oh, fantastic, this is going to be great. Then they tell you that it's the fake Darkseid, and I was like, oh, I'm confused. What's going on? Sorry, Charlie, I interrupted you.
No. But yeah, no, it was the last comic I read, and I'm so glad it was the last one I read, because.
You half read. Yeah, half read.
But I think the chat are kind of saying what we're saying. We've got Fuzzy Dunlop says the Black Adam movie doesn't do it for me, nor does Flash. And Phil said there are some characters that will not hit home with a majority. I have zero interest in Black Adam. I don't know a great deal. I've got no interest in the character myself. Baywatch movie was great though. It was good though.
Yeah, it was
that was good that him and Zac Efron did well. Yeah. And then Fuzzy has said, deal after reading it, I feel like I learned less, didn't understand it. And I think that's the whole thing. I think that's the way that it's going. Like, I did not understand anything. Look, the Killer Comic Show sponsored by Black Adam. No thanks. We don't need that kind of shit. And this show was a lot sexier last week. Welcome, James. How are you doing, sir? So yeah, it started off on a high, 3 killers. Then we've literally taken a turn for the worst, and it's gone for 3 binners, I'm assuming, because it was definitely binner for me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, as much as I don't like to say that a comic's a binner, but yeah, this is next to Grimlock and the other Transformers one that we read.
Well, this one I was just about to say, welcome to the bottom of the crew, Andy.
And there we go. Tim has said, I think Shazam film was the same though. Had no hopes or expectations for it, but enjoyed it. Could surprise some people. And you know what? I think it is going to surprise people because it's got the highest rated and highest paid actor in the world at the moment, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, in the role. So obviously it's going to make money. But, yeah, but this is it. So, but yeah, it's a definite winner for me. So moving swiftly on. We are now at my pick, which was Nocterra issue number 11, written by Scott Snyder, art by Tony S. Daniel. This hit your stores last week on June the 22nd. The main cover is by Tony S. Daniel. Cover B is by our newly found friend of the show, who we've been talking to all week, the man himself, Mr. Dan Panasian, and Tony S. Daniel, and a Marcelo Maiolo variant cover for Nocterra 11. Before I start gushing over this, guys, who wants to jump on and have a crack at the whip of the review for this one?
No, go. I'm easy. Go, Tom. Go, Charlie.
That was really unexpected.
Yes.
Go on,
I was
Tom.
like, what?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Nocterra issue 11. Moving on from issue 10, where we ended up with a huge bombshell as Piper decided to turn the lights off, which made the fact that they're in. I've got the name of the complex now that they're in, but basically it put this complex that they were in under attack from these massive alligator looking I forgot what the name of the things are now, the basically the dark things, the horrible alligator things. So it puts everything into disarray, and at this point Piper's kind of turned the lights off, and it's a little bit like the shit has hit the fan. Now this book I found this time round with Scott Snyder, I thought issue 10 was a little bit of a not a filler, but it was like Andy said about the last comic we read for Something's Killing the Children. It's one of those books where they give you a lot more information and you got a little bit more character backstory. I thought issue 10 was a bit like that, and you got a little bit more about Bill and what happened with Bill and him going into this complex and where he's come from and stuff like that, which was quite cool. Whereas this issue 11, from page 1 to the end of this page, I went on an emotional roller coaster with this one, up and down and there on the corner and blah de blah. It was amazing from start to finish. I absolutely this is my favorite comic this week by 100%. It was one of the best Nocterra comics that they've done, and it's because I went on that emotional roller coaster with Piper as she felt really bad for turning the lights off because she thought she'd done the right thing, with the whole crew going through their thing. And I can't remember the name of the main character, the girl on the cover. What's her name, Charlie?
Val.
That's it. The way Val is in this and the way she kind of sacrifices herself for the crew, spoiler alert, sorry, is just amazing. And it's like, oh, you've killed me. Like you've just ripped my heart out. Scott Snyder, you've just ripped my heart out and shat all over it. But the best bit for me was Will versus William all over again. Bill versus William. William's like, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, oh yeah, bring it, big boy. And they just go at it, and it's not even 2 panels, and he just completely fucks him up, which is amazing. For me, massive killer. Loved it. So glad we keep picking this one every week. By far, one of my favorite books, consistent books that we read. 100%. What did you guys think?
Andrew?
Yeah, again, a little bit like Something's Killing the Children. I started reading this issue and then realised that I'd missed 2 issues and I wasn't up to... So
now, this isn't the first time you've done this, is it? This is not the first time you've read it.
It was Something's Killing the Children as well.
Yeah.
Guys, I had chicken pox. Chill out.
I got married and I still read them.
But I read the 3 issues, and again, I think whenever we were on the Nocterra, well, you guys haven't been off it, but I sort of went off the Nocterra bandwagon. It was one of the most consistent comics out there, and I would have to say that it was really, really enjoyable. And again, a little bit like Something That's Killing the Children, I'm so glad that it was picked, that it gave me that excuse and forced me into having to catch up, because you can't just jump 2 issues and not know what the context and stuff is. What I found really excellent about this book, and it's Scott Snyder is just like, he's just a fantastic writer. There's no doubt about it. I love what he was doing with talking about mathematics. And in the last sort of 4 or 5 issues, in this complete run, it's all about, 1/5 and 2/5. And then they talk about in this issue about, the way that you need to battle evil is by putting 2 negatives together to produce a positive. But then, like, the whole William versus Bill thing was basically that happening in artwork. It was 2 very negative characters, evil characters, that are fighting against each other. And as a result of those 2 negative things happening, we got the positivity that some of them were able to escape. And I just thought that was absolutely genius writing. And it was set up throughout this whole arc, and we didn't even realize it and didn't even see it coming. So for me, an absolute killer book. It's a stunning series. I cannot wait till this goes either to TV show or the big screen, and I just hope that it does it justice. But again, Scott Snyder, James Tynion, we are so lucky as comic readers to have these guys, and we should appreciate every single bit of work that they do, even when it's like we don't really enjoy some of it, because 9 times out of 10 these guys just absolutely knock it out the park. And as I say, this was an absolute killer for me. Charlie?
Right, before I start gushing, I've literally just got to go into the chat, and where is it? Yes, look. Charlie is after Lenny Henry's job, skulking around his Premier Inns, right? It's work benefits, work perks of the job. And then Leon has said, probably the comment of the night, Charlie wouldn't be quite as cheery if he was to shine a black light round the Premier Inn room he's in.
Is that after or before?
I don't know. And then Connie has said, I'm home visiting for a couple of weeks, so it's more catching up with my Belfast pals, also a bit of student life. There we go. Living.
And he didn't get the invite.
So, where do I start with this absolutely fantastic run? So when I picked this last week, Andy was like, "Oh, of course you did. Of course you picked Nocterra, blah, blah, blah." I'm so glad
No, wait a minute, Charlie. I think my exact words were, for fuck's sake, boys, I've got 13 extra comics to read this week. Come on, extra issues. Right, yeah. Come on.
So I picked this with the hope that it was going to turn Andy back into it and think, yes, I'm going to get back into it. So my job has done. That's succeeded. This comic can do no wrong in my eyes. This is Scott Snyder and Tony S. Daniel dream teaming it all the way. Image Comics. This has just been signed by Netflix. That was announced the other day on Twitter. So that's going to be fantastic. That's going to be amazing for us to look forward to. So I can't wait for that. This story is consistently getting better and better. The character development of it within the previous 3 issues, we've seen characters come into it like Piper. We've seen the big rig come into it. We've seen people come into it and evolve, and they've had a more prominent place in the story. So it's not just about Val. It's not just about Piper. It's not just about their journey on the way to EOS and stuff. It's not about Blacktop Bill. We're seeing these characters coming through the pipeline, and it's becoming more about them. So you can kind of see the story starts that on a big rig, everyone plays their part. And in this issue, every single one of them has played a part. Every single one of them has played a part. And as you can see here, every single on the panel on the right hand side, I didn't want to give too much away for this comic because I know there's a few fans that have read this and they might not have caught up. But on the panel on the right hand side, they've kind of all come together after something's happened. Val for me is one of the most. If she was to be put in a room with Erica Slaughter, I honestly, hand on heart, would not know who would win. And that is something I'd pay to see. But for me, Blacktop Bill is an antagonist. He reeled us in and he hooked us line and sinker. And I don't know. I didn't see it coming. I honestly didn't see it coming. I was just like, after the Blacktop Bill one shot, I was like, one shot, I was like, I'm really starting to like this guy now. And then what happens in this, I'm kind of like, no, I'm really not liking him now. But there's still an essence of me that's like, yeah, I want this character to stay around. I want him to stay around because something's going to happen. Something massive's going to happen between him and Val. It has to. And I think Piper's going to play a massive part in it as well.
For such an evil character, he has a fantastic teeth brushing regime as well. I mean, look at those teeth. Come on,
those
guys.
are some decent teeth.
Whew.
But for me, there was emotion throughout this whole thing. For the way that it started, Piper telling the story, but then it goes on to Val giving her input. I just thought, and
Charlie,
then
what do you
Emery,
think of Chris's comment?
Rock Bill is the best bad guy in comics, 100%, 100%. Like,
I disagree. Charlie's
Really?
the best bad guy in comics today.
but yeah, but like, don't you agree with me though? Like it started off with Piper doing the narrative, then it goes into a bit of Val doing the narrative, and then it ends with Emery doing the narrative because that's the kind of parts that they're playing. This ended the second arc, and I am so looking forward to reading this because this comic was just amazing. So yeah, 100% killer chicken dinner for me, 100%. Scott Snyder, Tony S. Daniel smashed it out of the park, boys.
The way this book ends is insane.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, don't even get me started on it.
Scott Snyder, if you're watching, listening, come on the show. You'll make Charlie.
We can't have him on the show. We can't have him anywhere near Charlie. There'll be a restraining order in the post the following day.
Well, hold on a minute. I don't think you can have Dan Panacean on the show next to me. I don't think you can have Scott Snyder. I don't think you can have Katana Collins on again because I'll just go to shit with all three of them. So
we couldn't have Jason Campbell on the show either because both me and Charlie would end up with restraining orders.
And it'd just be you. So yeah. But
I mean, you have to sail the ship, mate. Sorry,
I'll get Jock and Jennifer Sun and we'll.
But yeah, look, some of the I think Charlie might leave his missus for this comic. Get a room already. Oh, he has one, and yep. He has a copy of Nocterra folded up inside a copy of Razzle, inside a copy of Jock Weekly.
He's an owl. He's an owl.
But there we go. So this is three killers, right? So this is a killer. Black Adam was an absolute flop, and then Something's Killing the Children was a killer as well. Now this one I had to throw in because I see the cover and I was like, this is going to go one or two ways. It's either going to be an seriously enjoyable comic or it's not going to be. So we've gone for The Silver Coin, issue number 11, written again by James Tynion and art by Michael Walsh. The main cover is as gory as hell and it's by Michael Walsh. Cover B is by the fantastic Martin Simmons. You people might know him from Department of Truth, the fantastic story he's done there. And then we've got the Adam Gorham 1 in 25 incentive. Tom, I know you was really passionate about this comic and how you felt about reading it. So I'm going to let you go first, mate.
no, mate. I went first on Nocterra.
You can go first again.
Okay, so basically, The Silver Coin. I actually haven't read hardly any of these. I read issue 5 and I read issue 9. I want to say some of the ones that we've been that you guys have said let's read, and that is why I think Silver Coin's a really good comic, really, because you don't have to have read from 1 to 11 to know what's going on, because each story is its own standalone story. I mean, I wouldn't recommend issue number 5; it's terrible in my opinion. But this one. I think the last one I read was the Las Vegas one, which was pretty good, to be fair. But this one, as soon as Charlie mentioned it and sent it to me and sent me the issue cover of the main cover, I was like, this is going to make me sick. I'm going to be violently sick because I can see where it's going to go. And I thought, this is horrible. It's written by James Tynion, who's just like an expert at horror. Artwork by Michael Walsh, who's just, his detail's incredible to the point where you can almost smell it. So the story of this one is it's in a rundown diner. The coin makes its way into the rundown diner. The lady makes a wish, obviously on the coin, about having more people come in with hungry bellies. And now I've said it, you can see where it's going to go, can't you? The people are going to turn up and they're hungry and they've got hungry bellies. So it's only going to go one way, isn't it? So I read this one and I just so happened to be sitting next to my now wife whilst reading it, and she was like, why have you got a really funny look on your face? Why have you gone white? And I'm like, well, I'm going to be sick, basically. This is horrible. The detail is sickening. The story is in all fairness, let's talk about the story first. The story is actually really good, to be fair. Yeah. Can't knock it. It's horrific. It got me from start to finish. I was gripped. I wanted to read. I wanted to turn the page, although it was horrific. I wanted to turn the page because I wanted to see what would happen. And the main character in this, the old lady that's got the fag and she owns the restaurant, she is hard as nails. Absolutely hard as nails. And I liked her as a character and I really wanted to see whether or not she'd make it. I'm not going to tell you what happens to her, whether she makes it or not. But this book just kind of went from 0 to 100 very quickly. And I was a little bit like, this is horrible, but I can't put it down. I can't stop reading it. Please stop this. But yeah, although that happened to me, the artwork was insane. It was so gory, so detailed. I did actually thoroughly enjoy it because I put it down and I was like, that, although I didn't like the fact that I was having to read about these things, I did enjoy it because as soon as I put it down, it became a talking point. And for me, that's what comic books is about. You read something, it becomes a talking point. You can tell to your mates about it, or you can say, this was really good, but it was, made my stomach churn. And this is what that did. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you for picking it. So yeah, from me, this is a killer. Very well written.
Where do I start with this one? Oh my goodness. Okay, let me start. So James Tynion has done a lot of fantastic work. I'm going to go out and say that this is the best piece of work that James Tynion has done this year.
Couldn't agree.
It is
agreed.
Horrifically brilliant. They literally have turned the volume up to 20 on this one, and I loved every bit of it. Michael Walsh, who's obviously doing all the artwork for every single issue, has effectively created an anthology which is slowly but surely becoming a bit of a masterpiece. I can imagine this in a massive hardback omnibus. Every single issue isn't absolutely consistently great, but it's readable and it's enjoyable, and I think that's the most important thing about the Silver Coin.
Apart from issue 5,
I thought issue 5 was the best issue. to be fair, because but the Silver Coin is tremendous. I would highly recommend it to absolutely anybody who enjoys. It seems it's a really quick read. I find. The artwork on this, oh my god! Like you could just tell that that Michael and James were having so much fun with this. They kind of went, you know what? Let's just stretch it as far as we can to see where we can take this one. And I couldn't imagine this DC. I couldn't imagine these DC Black Label. I couldn't imagine it Marvel by any stretch of imagination. This was amazing, and it almost felt like I went back through some of the previous issues of Silver Coin, and I'm just wondering if a lot of it is picking up in the sort of deadly sins. Like this felt like gluttony all over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the sign of a good comic is that, like Tom, you feel a little bit, your stomach feels a little bit sick to the stomach reading it and looking at it.
It was the fact that when she goes out to go and get whatever more supplies, she comes back and she's like, we've got no meat, and he's serving meat. And she was like, what is that smell? I could fucking smell it. That's how good this book was. I could smell what she could smell. And I just imagined it. And that's how good this book is.
Yeah, this is what happens when the reins are taken off and you just let somebody go with their imagination. And I just hope that the next 4 issues to take us up to issue number 15 stays at this level, because I think whoever is, I can't even remember who's doing the next issue, is going to have a real challenge to make it as good as this one, because it seems like in every arc there's that one stunning issue. For me, it was issue 5. I know Tom doesn't agree. Then it was issue number 7, I think, that was Ram V, and then we've got issue number 11. Excellent, absolute killer for me.
So I've got to say, like, we've been doing this for nearly 2 years now, and I kind of hope I know what you guys like. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, comic wise, you've picked Grimlock and Andy picked Black Adam, so maybe I'm a way off the mark. But
hey, Black Adam was far worse than Grimlock.
I kind of picked this because I was like, I'm going to enjoy it, and I know these guys will, and I'm so glad that you kind of enjoyed it. Yeah, I know it was gory, right? This was probably one of the most goriest comics I've read this year, right? And,
yeah, I agree.
But by God, was it an enjoyable comic. Like the main cover by Michael Walsh. Do you not get Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes from that? Like instantly, straight away, I was like, this is for me. Like I'm all over this. The second cover by Martin Simmons is that is, if that was taken from the comic itself inside there, you would totally understand what the comic's about. And then the third one,
the two covers, the main cover and cover B, you literally, it's like Ronsil. You are getting exactly what it says on the tin in this book.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, this is what you're going to get.
So this for me, right? we haven't just got two slides I'm going to show. We got 4 images I'm going to show because this comic for me was amazing. So this is it, right? So she's gone out, she's cooking away, someone's left the tip, and we find out that someone's left, the guy who's left the tip, she kicks off and is like, oh my God, like this tight ass, he's left this change and he's left this dodgy ass coin. And the intern, family friend daughter that they've got working with her, she's like, oh my God, that's meant to be a lucky coin, make a wish. So she does the wish, makes it, etc. Then goes back in to see the chef. And it's like, look, I've got to go out and get some more meat. We've got nothing to cook. Like people just want to come in. I think what was it? The wish that she made, because it was so empty, she just wanted people to come in and eat until their bellies were full. On that wish, that's what she made. She went into the chef and said, look, I need to go out and buy some more food. We've got no meat. And what I noticed is that the chef down at the bottom, his eyes are exactly the same color and exactly the same shape as the silver coin. So if you go back through it and have a look, it's exactly the same. They're exactly the same, like the same color, the way that they're fixed and everything like that. So she goes out to get some meat down at the mini mart or wherever she goes. She comes back in and says, well, hold on, when I left, people weren't eating meat. People weren't eating meat. What's happening? And the girl helping there's like, yeah, well, I don't know. The chef keeps pumping it out. Cut to the panel on the right. Horrific, right? Poor old John.
Guy, is just had a fucking heart attack 10 minutes beforehand.
Poor old John sitting there, stuffing his belly full of T-bone, and now he's getting all bones ripped out of him. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the chef is loving it. The chef is there. He's like, right, he's cooking up a right storm. He's living body and soul, cooking the food. So then we go from that. So I'm like, right, I'm all in. I am all in for this, right? So then we go over again. Look at this. She's literally, Mavis, I'm going to call her Mavis, has come out the back and gone, fucking hell, what the hell has happened? I literally went to the minute mark for 5 minutes. I've come back. He's murdered someone. He's cooking up 3-course meals from rump steak, literally from the rump, and he's serving it out. And she literally thinks this can't continue. She turns around to Betty Boo and says, right, Betty, you're going to have to go, love. I can't have this. You're going to, shit's about to hit the fan. You need to go. She said, I don't want to go. No, you've got to go. Just fuck off and go. I'll bring your stuff to you. I'll go and tell your mum you're home early. Here's your little tip in your pocket. Go and do one. So then she's just like, right, how are we going to deal with this? How are we going to play this? Goes back in. Again, the bell's ringing. Ding, ding, ding. These people are turning into cannibals. Like in the panel there where the geezer's eating it, he's licking the plate. Then he takes a bite out of the plate. Then he takes an almighty bite out of the plate, loses his teeth, rings the bell, wants more food. I haven't put the panel in of what happens to Mavis, right? But if you're not reading Silver Coin, please jump on it, because you've got DC Black Label, you've got Hill House Comics doing their horror comic genre and stuff like that. Nothing compares. I didn't get a B in drama. I actually got an A+. But nothing compares to Image Comics in the way that Silver Coin and James Tynion and Michael Walsh have put this comic together. And as I think Fuzzy Dunlop said, or Leon Russell said, this is James Tynion without any breaks. I want to see more of this. I want to see more of this because this was incredible.
Charlie, the question is though, did you like it?
100% I bloody liked it. I read it 3 times. I liked it that much. I read it 3 times just to get the pure gore fest again and again and again. So,
my question to you both is, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, sit back, everybody. Let me explain. How long have we got?
How on earth can you pick and enjoy this book? I mean, I'm obviously right there with you because I enjoyed it as well. But what is wrong? We're all sick in the head.
But can I just say that this is going to be a spoiler warning or potential spoiler warning? I need to read back over the previous issues. But the guy that's got the coin on the last, he's saying to it, oh my God, you are so powerful. I can't wait to see what else you can do. I think in a few previous issues, he's been in the background, or he's been noticed. So I think he is one of the main antagonists about this. But yeah, this is a fantastic comic.
Well, I think
Yes.
issue 12, if I'm right, if I've read the synopsis right, is about a firefighter. So I actually might not read that one.
Oh, jeez,
Yes.
no, yeah, I was going to say.
But yeah, this is 100% killer for me, a killer from Tom, and a killer from Andy. As gory as it is, I can't suggest but picking it up. But we've just had a comment from Joseph C. What happened to your Instagram account? In a nutshell, on June the 14th, my Geeky Guy Comics Instagram account was hacked by some absolute gobshite, twat-faced prick that decided to hack into my account and then message near enough 8,000 of my followers and say that, yeah, if you answer this quiz, you can win £500. I'll put it in your bank account and then you'll change your email address and then they'll hack into your account. Instagram have been absolutely shit at doing absolutely nothing. They've been about as helpful as a chocolate teapot. So I've started a new Instagram account at Geeky Guy Comics _. So if you were following me on that one, block it, report it, do what you got to do. Instagram won't do anything. And then follow me over at Geeky Guy Comics _ and then obviously follow the Killer Comic Show on Instagram and Twitter as well. So yeah, that's it. Sorry about that. Sorry I went on a tangent that, but there we go. 3 out of 4 comics getting killers isn't bad. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself tonight. Probably because I've had a beer.
Probably because I've had a beer.
There's Charlie's new IG, so go and click that and give him a follow and all that.
There we go. So, Tom, you've been away for a while, but
I have.
You got married.
I did.
Did you bring your keys back?
I did bring my keys back. Boom! Not quite meant killer keys. It's back, ladies and gentlemen. Did you guys do this while I was away?
Yeah, kind of, but it weren't up to your standard. So yeah,
it definitely wasn't.
To be fair, it's a shit standard anyway. But thank you very much for doing it.
No,
appreciate it.
We've got 2 dates on here, Tom, for the new viewers or the continuing viewers that get confused every week. What do these 2 dates stand for, mate?
So, basically, DC released their comics on a Tuesday and everybody else released their books on a Wednesday. So the killer keys that I'm going to give you are basically across the board DC, Marvel, and Indie. So they could come out on a Tuesday if it's a DC book, which is the 5th, or a Wednesday, which is the 6th, which is mostly all the other comics. But in the UK, pretty much all comics are available on the 6th. But in the US, your comic books will be ready for you on the 5th as well, if that's any help whatsoever. So first up, and one that I know we're extremely excited about, guys, is the first issue of the new Batman run written by Chip Zdarsky and artwork by George Jimenez. And this is Batman issue 125, and this is a brand new creative team jumping in on this one. The reason it's a key is for 2 reasons. It's the first time Chip Zdarsky is doing Batman, so it's worth picking up for that because he has had an amazing run doing Daredevil. His Stillwater stuff is incredible. And I do believe, if I've read rightly on Bleeding Cool, that the DC bigwigs have essentially given Chip free reign with Batman.
Oh
wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Wow. I read it that he basically said he'd only take on Batman if he could have a bit of free reign. And they kind of oomed and ahed about it. So they have given him free reign. And because of that, he's introduced a brand new character, a brand new Batman villain that is the equivalent to Superman's Doomsday, called Failsafe. And that character is making its debut in issue 125. And I've already read the synopsis for issue 127, which is also going to be a key. And Failsafe is going to make a huge impact because a particular character may or may not. So I'll leave it at that.
Is it Black Adam? Is it Black Adam?
Is it Black Adam? It is Black Adam, yeah.
So I'm just going to say, so obviously Chip Zdarsky is everywhere. He's got Stillwater. He's got his new comic coming out, which came out this week, Public Domain, which is written and art by Chip Zdarsky. He's got Daredevil. He's got, what else has he got? He's got various out, and now he's got Batman. Would you say that Chip now has kind of come to the forefront and is able to start flexing his muscles? Like if you're going to DC and saying, yeah, you want me to do Batman, I'm happy to do Batman, but I want it on my terms, because I've been following Batman from issue 1. So I've seen like I've seen, what is it, Tom? Is it Tom Taylor or Tom?
So you would have had Scott Snyder, Tom Taylor, James
Taylor,
Tynion, and Joshua Williamson.
Yeah. And I've kind of seen that, and the story has gone up and down, up and down. Like for me, Joker War was what we was looking forward to, but then anything after Joker War weren't anything. Joshua Williamson has done his thing, didn't really work out. Chip Zdarsky, to have the power to turn around to DC and say, right, Batman, I'm having it on my terms. I think Chip Zdarsky is now potentially, he's always been there, but for me, I think he's one of the best writers out there, if not the best at this moment in time.
And what's done it is his Daredevil run and the one issue he did for Crossover, because they put him on the map. That one issue he did for Crossover was incredible, but his Daredevil run took Daredevil from being what I would call a B-list Marvel character to an A-list Marvel character. The if I'm right in saying, again, I just hopefully this Bleeding Cool have got their information right, is that Daredevil is one of the highest grossing books that Marvel have at the moment because of Chip Zdarsky.
It was Tom King, not Tom Taylor, so I was wrong.
Tom King, yeah. So on the back of that, DC have obviously gone, look, we need Batman fixing, or we just need someone to come into Batman and do something, shake it up a little bit. And he's gone, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm doing it on my terms, and I'm going to do it how I did Daredevil. Yeah. So be prepared for things to change for like a long term.
Phil's got a good question. I hope with him being on Bats, he doesn't leave Daredevil. I don't think he would. I think where he's made, he's not.
No. So this will be next week's keys. I've written up my next week's keys. So next week, technically, that'd be the week after. So that'd be the 18th or the 13th of July. Yeah. They're releasing a brand new Daredevil series written by Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah,
of course. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this, and there's some fantastic.
I personally don't think he's working hard enough.
No, he's no James Tynion, is he? Everywhere.
Not at all. So yeah, this is Chip Zdarsky Batman 125.
Yeah, and then also still on the DC run. Again, guys, if you want to pick up your DC books, it is on the Tuesday in America or the Wednesday here in the UK. So that's the 5th of July or the 6th of July. Next one up, this is Flashpoint Beyond issue 3, written by Jeff Johns, artwork by Jeremy Adams. This one is a key because it's the first appearance of Project Superman. So this is a brand new clone of Superman, if you like. Stuff we've seen before, nothing really special, apart from the fact that Flashpoint is going to be a new DC animated show coming up. So this could be a decent first appearance to get if you're going to flip it. That's my kind of advice to you on this one.
Do you know what? I'm watching the Superman and Lois TV show, and at the moment it seems that DC are tying into that with like an alternative Superman and stuff like that. So yeah, I've read issues number 1 of this. It was okay, so I think maybe I might pick up issues number 2 and 3. But the sign, like his logo on his chest, just reminds me of Ghostbusters. Yeah,
well, I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. I don't believe this is a first appearance. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before somewhere, and I can't put my finger on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this looks absolutely horrific.
It probably will be, mate.
Really?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Adam.
Well, yeah. Maybe it's a DC thing. Maybe that's what's happened to me. But yeah, I mean, even the cover for me. But yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I'm staying in my lane. But yeah, sorry.
Okay. Cool.
Stay in my lane. Yeah, and then the next one up is Star Wars: The Mandalorian issue 1, written by Rodney Barnes. Say again, what?
Finally.
Yeah, it's been a while. And then artwork by George Jennett. And this one comes out on the 6th, not the 5th. I didn't realize I hadn't changed that. So apologies on that. This is Dara Jinn's first proper appearance in a comic book. And it's the first cameo appearance of Grogu too. So if you want to get those first appearances in your comic collection, this is the one to get. And the 1 in 25 cover for this is absolutely stunning if you haven't seen it.
Pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is absolute fire, mate. I love it. I think I've ordered one of this one. All I would say, guys, is as a book to read, it's literally just going to be the first issue of first episode of Mandalorian, but in a comic book form. So it's anything you haven't seen or done before.
That's fine.
But as a key or something you want to put on your shelf, like get it CGC, so you've got it first appearance of this character. This is it. Pick it up. Din Djarin's first appearance.
I think what might happen with this book as well is that maybe not the first issue, but the second issue, they'll have like an advertisement for a future upcoming Star Wars comic.
Agreed.
And that will probably make it like jump up in value and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I've got every cover pre-ordered apart from the 1 in 50. So
I'm under the impression that this first series is going to be based on the first series of the TV show, and then what they do in the second series is explain his training, how he went from being a boy to being a man. Right. But what they're doing is testing the waters to see how many people buy this book before they do.
Everybody will buy this book. Everybody.
Yeah, I've got it. You've got it.
It's only 5 issues, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 issues. Yeah.
So
this cover's great. This cover as a standard, I don't know, 565 cover. This is great.
Yeah,
I
it is
like
stunning.
Love that.
I should have really put the covers on so you guys could see it. But the David RG one is absolutely incredible. And then finally, this one is by you've changed it. Very nice one, Charlie. Because when I looked at it this morning, I'd got this as Marvel when it's actually Image. It's Skybound. So this is Impact Winter, written by Travis Breacham, artwork by Stephanie Green. This one comes out on July the 6th. Now, guys, this is one that it's not necessarily a key. It's not like a first appearance or anything. Well, it is. Technically, it's first appearance because it's the first book, first time it's been done. But this is a one-shot prequel to an audio book that came out a fair few years ago of a drama about a post-apocalyptic world where the sun has been blotted out by a comet crash on Earth, and the only survivors are a few people and a couple of vampires, but who are technically bats, like they're actual bat people, and they're the only survivors of this post-apocalyptic thing. And it's all about their story. But this is a prequel to an audio book that came out that they're then now going to turn into a comic book called Winter Impact. So this is Impact Winter, and the book will be called Winter Impact, which I thought was really cool. And I like the idea that it's this post-apocalyptic world where people have the comics hit. It's blown up the whole world. People have gone underground, and then they've come back out. What's dominating the world are these bat people, and the human race is no longer the most significant thing anymore.
Batman,
yeah, essentially.
This is it. Chip Zdarsky.
Chip Zdarsky writing Batman Impact Winter. I would definitely recommend this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, this has got Andy written all over it.
It does. That's why I picked it.
There we go.
So Tom, apparently Travis Beacham also wrote Pacific Rim as well.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And Tom, is your Instagram?
Yeah, so guys, please feel free to follow me over on Instagram. I am now known as Not Quite Mint Comic Killer Comics Show, or I am going to change it to the Killer Comics Show Tom, so everyone knows who I am. But yeah, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be doing a bit more posts now that I've got a bit more free time. And my art page is going to go back up as well. I'll be doing my 30-day challenge or my drawing challenge again. So I kind of gave it up while I was doing the my wedding prep and stuff. But I've got this really cool Studio Ghibli book that I got whilst I was in Cornwall, which is a little bit like, it looks a bit like the My Friend Totoro on it. So I'm going to be doing some sketches around stuff like that. So like, the manga style stuff. So if you like that stuff, follow me over on Instagram on The Art of Tom Malin if you want to see my artwork. And if you want to see my comic book collection, follow me on Not Quite Mint. And I'll also point you to this show if you're not already following this show.
Right. So absolutely amazing keys, Tom. I have to do a audio warning for Connie because she always tells me off. So Connie, cover your ears. You're on mute, Andy.
I'm on mute.
Amazing.
I was like, that is loud. Perpetual's Killer Indies for July 6th, everybody. First up, we have Space Lady, issue number 1. This is by Behemoth Comics, and it's written and artwork is by Ashley Warwick. I love the covers for these. I like the kind of a simplicity of them, and that's what drew me to reading the synopsis, and that's the reason I picked it. So the synopsis reads: Space Lady does her job exactly as the manual advises her. At least that is what her advisors think. She uses her incredible armor, technology, qualified immunity, and paycheck to get super, super high. She deals with crime in her sector, anything but fairly, using any excuse to fight someone or break something. But today, after a heavy night of drinking, Space Lady decides to sleep in and let her homemade AI police force handle crime. Does that no sound messed up, lads?
It really does.
Yeah,
I think this is going to trippy. I think this is going to be an absolute trippy story. And I just thought, you know what? Some people might like it. I'm definitely going to check out issue 1 just to see what it's like, and I might even pick it as my read of the week. So we're all forced to read it. So
please don't.
Yeah, I think I might.
The artwork is awful. No, thank you.
I love the artwork. I think it's fantastic.
Really?
So yeah, I think it's great. I think it's
you got those Specsavers, pal.
All right, pal. We're not all artists here, all right? I like what I like.
Picks Blackadder, and now he's picking shoddy artwork.
All right, okay. Get James Boyd on. Space Lady issue number 1. Okay. Attack. Next up, we have There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd, issue number 1. This is from Aftershock Comics, and it's written by Ed Bryson, and the artwork is by Gavin Guidry. I'm committing to that. Yeah. Let me just get my notes, because I did write notes for this. So this is 15-year-old Patrick Todd, lives on the run, hiding out in seedy motels, living out of his backpack and making sure that his mum, recently struck down by a mysterious illness of the mind, is well cared for. But doctors cost money, a lot of money. And so Patrick turns to a life of crime, using the telepathic abilities he's been hiding all his life. He forces the worst of the worst to rob banks, taking the money before making them turn themselves into the police. But someone has taken notice of Patrick's schemes. A reckoning is coming. Will the police find Patrick in time to save him, or will he become yet another victim of the killer called Zeus?
I thought you were going to say was he going to become another victim of the comic show.
I should have ended it like that. Yeah. I think this sounds really, really intriguing. I think it
does. To be fair,
something a little bit different. Do you know? I think it's been on previews for quite a long time.
I'm sure this was on one of my keys a while back.
You're probably right. Good taste. I like that. Good taste. And I can see you've changed your name to Big Rig, so kudos.
Yeah, man. I'm keeping it.
Nice. Next up, we have Little Monsters issue number 5. We love this comic. There's not any bad things that we've said about it. This is by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Yen. And previously, the young vampires found themselves in a human compound, and it ended in a bloody mess. Now, running from the wreckage, they've split into 2 groups, one helping a young human Laura, the other being hunted by an unknown assailant. So if you haven't been reading this and you're interested to see what the issues are like, definitely watch the rewinds. I don't know, I can't even remember which week we did this, Charlie, Tom?
It was
not too sure.
I think it's 3 weeks ago.
What, so the last time we read Little Monsters?
Little Monsters 4, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was, I think it was the week before I went. So
yeah, so I think it was episode
3 weeks ago.
Episode 23, yeah.
Sweet, cool. So I think this is the last issue, if I remember correctly, and I think this is stunning. I think that the artwork for this cover is absolutely beautiful as well. And may or may not be my pick for next week.
The way the last issue ended was, it hits you in the feels. So there's a lot to do in this last issue. So yeah, looking forward
to bring it all together. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Next up, we have The Closet, issue number 2. Again, we reviewed issue number 1, and I believe we all enjoyed it.
This was a massive talking point. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. This has been the issue that I've been really excited to see where it all led to, and to see if any of the sort of stuff that we were talking about actually comes to fruition in this. So this is James Tynion again, and artwork by Gavin Fullerton, and of course from Image Comics. So the synopsis reads: as Tom continues the cross-country move with his son Jamie, They stop at a friend's place for the night on their journey west. Young Jamie, in bed early, quickly realizes he is not alone, and the creature from his nightmares continues to chase him. Sounds like more of the same.
Oh, yeah, I read this again. I read issue number 1 again after we finished the show, and I tell you what, you just can't fault James Tynion. He's such a good writer, and like the subtleties that he leaves for the reader thinking what's happening. I mean, this issue number 1 got us talking quite a bit because all three of us had all different perspectives on it. So if a comic can do that, if a writer and artist can do that, you're onto a winner.
100%. And I think this is last but not least. This is Prometheus 1313. And I think this one has been on our radar for quite some time.
I'm sure you've mentioned this one before, mate. Yeah.
I think we had it on FOC. I think that's maybe where I remember it from, because we're coming up to that 3-week period. So this is written by Andy Diggle, and the artwork is by Sean Martinborough. And so Ablaze, and it's by Ablaze as well. So Ablaze brings you a psychological sci-fi horror comic full of alien conspiracy. What if you knew the world was about to end? What would you be willing to do to save the people that you love? Darla has been plagued by apocalyptic visions ever since she was abducted by a UFO as a child. Now she's ready to put it all behind her and move on with her life. But what if it was all true? A dangerous cult militia is prepping for the end of the world, and they see Darla as the key to their survival. Meanwhile, something alien is awakening on the dark side of the moon, and the crew of the space shuttle Atlantis has a rendezvous with Destiny. And this is a prequel, so this whole story is a prequel to the original Prometheus as well. And Jock will be doing all the covers for this as well, so another reason why I'll be picking it up.
Of course, yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this one.
Cool. And that is all for the indie pickups. You can come and find me at Instagram /perpetual.comics, and also on Twitter at perpetual.comics. And that's your indie comics.
But Andy, you're not done yet, because this week we didn't have any trades to pick. So you can stay on the line, because you can go straight into your final order cutoff #killer picks.
Final order cutoff. Cool. So what is this? The third week we've been doing final order cutoff. So anybody that doesn't know what FOC is, it's the opportunity for you to go and order those comics that are coming out roughly about 3 or 4 weeks in the future, and it just allows your LCS to be able to pick it up or to order it for you, so that you're not going to be paying scalper money when it comes out if it does well. You'll be familiar with this, Tom, with Not Quite Mint. You probably had a few people contacting you for FOC and stuff like that, yeah?
I did, mate. I did indeed.
Yeah. So this is an opportunity just to pick out some of the comics that I thought should be on your radar, and hopefully in the next few weeks coming, we'll get Charlie and Tom to pick a couple that they think are going to do well as well. Mm-hmm. So this is for final order cutoff for Monday, which is the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to all our American friends. First up, we have Edge of Spider-Verse issue number 1 by Marvel. This is written by Dan Slott, artwork by the fabulous, fantastic Mark Bagley. And you'll see there that I've put the code. So that code is the code that you can give to your LCS, and that's what they'll use to actually order it up through Diamond, if that's the distributor that they use. I think this is going to be I'm going to say 6-issue run for this. And I believe the first issue is definitely going to be one of your killer keys there, Tom, because there's at least there's at least, I think, maybe 6 or 7 first appearances that are going to show up in this first issue.
Wow.
It should definitely be on everybody's radar. And I've enjoyed the other Spider-Verse arcs as well. Is this something you guys will be picking up, or do you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Spider-Noir, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Saw. Yeah.
This particular book is the first appearance of Spider-Rex, who's the character in the background. And then I think it's issue 2 is the first appearance of a new character. And then issue 3 is the first appearance of a non-binary Spider-Man.
Okay. So, yeah. Definitely be picking it up. It's definitely, especially with the Spider-Verse movies coming up as well. You just know that it's going to pop. So, don't say that I didn't tell you to get that on your subscription list. And next up, Predator. Guys, this is one I'm really excited for. So this is Predator issue number 1. This is written by Ed Bryson and artwork by Kev Walker. Again, you've got the reference there to order this up. Now, this is specifically to order up the Peach Momoko cover, which you can see on screen. There is some fantastic covers out for this. And I think this is going to be a little bit darker than what Marvel would normally do when it comes to comics, because it has that big parental advisory on the synopsis. And I don't think I've actually seen that ever in a synopsis for a Marvel comic before. But yeah, I've picked up quite a few of these Peach Momoko covers because I think it's one of our better ones. Guys, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's the first time Marvel have done Predator, and it was announced mid last year. There are a lot of exclusives for this one. A lot of covers will drop for this one. The one, if you're going to look out for one in particular that's going to be worth money in the future, get the Rahaz one. Raza one.
Yeah.
Because it's limited to 500 copies across the entire world. So if you can get your hands on that one, do it. And it's also
is that store exclusive, Tom?
It's store exclusive, so it's only 500 copies going to be made. And it's basically the Predator invisible in the background, but you can only see him because he's got splatters of blood all over him.
Right. Okay.
Really clever.
I think if you remember back when we were doing Alien, they done Alien. There was I thought the Alien run was really great. So hopefully this will match up to it.
It's what I was going to say. Do you think because they've both got Alien and Predator now, are we going to get an Alien versus Predator comic somewhere along the line?
Oh,
we're going to end up with an Alien versus Predator versus Wolverine at some point, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, I think they've already done I don't know if it was Marvel, but they've done Alien versus Predator already, and then they've done Alien versus Predator versus can't even remember who it was, but yeah, it's obviously that they're going to do that at some point. I went for a hardback cover for first time in FOC because this is one I'm going to pick up personally. So this is Die hardcover by Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans, and this is going to collect Die issue number 1 to 20. Now this isn't actually in the shops, I believe, and I'm hoping somebody can correct me if this is wrong, but until November the 2nd this year. So this is giving you plenty of time to pre-order this. It's going to roughly be about $60, and in the UK, the cheapest I could find it was in Forbidden Planet, and it was 37 quid plus postage on Forbidden. It's even more expensive on Amazon, believe it or not, but Forbidden Planet seems to be the cheapest at the minute. If anybody else finds this cheaper than that, can you slide into my DMs and let us know? Because I definitely want to pick this up.
It's an amazing series.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this. And I think it's just going to, it's a hardcover as well. I just think it's going to present really well, and one of those ones you'll be proud to have in your, the way the guys that collect all the hardbacks and stuff, they take the photos of their book case. That's what I want to do. I want to be that guy. That was all my picks for this, but I've picked some covers that I think stand out for me anyway. And I knew that someone had mentioned it in the chat at the start of the show, but I did pick the Predator issue number 1 Scotty Young variant. I think it's fantastic. I think it's stunning, and the Alien number 1 by Scotty Young is selling for a premium now. So if I were you guys, I would pick up more than one copy of this because I think this is going to do really, really well in the aftermarket. And the other cover that I picked here was Eternus issue number 1. Now, this is a 1 in 100 cover. This is by Tihani Farr, and it's actually a metal variant.
Pardon?
It's a metal variant. So, guys, if you want to pick this up, it's going to cost you a premium, and you're going to probably have to pre-order this at your LCS to be able to at least be in a chance of it. I don't know how many LCSs are going to be ordering more than 100 copies of this new book. So you have been warned, guys, if it's something that's of interest to you. But
what's her name?
I don't think it's Tihani Farr.
Tihani Farr.
Tihani Farr. Yeah. Try and say that after a couple of beers at Thought Bubble.
Yeah, we will. So yeah, that's all my FOC guys and my sort of killer cover picks for FOC as well.
Looking forward to some of them. Morning, Whackers, Ashes, Tea House. How you doing, Gray? Hope you're doing well, mate. So that is the FOC, and then we get down to the business part of the show. Now I'm going to head over to YouTube. We have had 137 votes. I'm not sure how this happened, but we haven't really. We've had 37 votes. In the third place with 19%, we've got myself with the Iron Man Hellcat cover, which I kind of knew was going to happen anyway. In second place, we have Andy with Harley Quinn at 32%. And in first place, winning on his comeback show since tying the knot, we have Tom with 49% of the votes with his Harley Quinn cover. Well done, sir.
Done, mate. Well done, Andy. That's quality.
Tom, you won, mate.
I know. I'm just messing. I don't win anything. I was just messing.
I was lost
playing
there.
with me.
I shut off then. I was looking at the chat going, wait, what have I done?
Oh yeah, so Tom, you're getting back on there, mate. And do you know what I've noticed? With the watercolor covers, they seem to be the best way of you going.
Yeah, it's two now.
That's
Two watercolor covers.
3.
Yeah, sorry, the third one's painted. The second one's painted.
Yeah.
David Mack-esque.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you ever so much for everyone who voted. That's really kind. Thank you for voting for me on my first day back. Makes me feel very loved. Thanks, guys.
So before we go into the sneak peeks for next week, we've got our killer pickups, haven't we? So Andy, Tom, what you got?
We did indeed. Do you want to go first, Charlie? Do you want me to go first?
I don't mind, mate.
One of you two can go. I haven't got anything because I'm traveling like Lenny Henry.
Yes.
You picked it up.
Yeah, so I picked up the 1 in 25 cover. I've had this in pre-order for quite some time. It spoke to me, this cover, and it is just as nice in real life. I don't even recall, you probably have it on the slides maybe, Charlie, who the artist was for this.
I think it's Dell'Edra, mate.
Whether Dell'Edra it is.
Dell'Edra.
Oh, right, okay. Cool. I just thought it was a gorgeous cover. So this is one that it came in really good nick as well. There's maybe a little bit of dent on the top left hand side, which is probably going to stop me from getting it slabbed. But super happy to have that in my collection. Next couple of things is I got a couple of books for my birthday. So I got from my missus. So this is the DC Comics cover art, which shows 350 of the greatest covers in DC's history. And she clearly picked it up because she's seen that there was the jaw cover on the cover. But having looked through this, it is a really good book. It's one of those sort of books that you can have on the coffee table and just like pick up every so often and just look through some of the cool covers. So yeah, got that. I have that covered as well. This is cool. And this one is a cool one. This is the periodic table of Marvel. Okay, and this basically shows how each of the Marvel characters tie in based on their powers. Okay, so it's like the periodic table of Marvel classifies key and unsung Marvel characters, revealing the fundamental properties that bind them, the unique catalysts that created them, and the chain reactions that energize them. I just thought it sounded really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to giving it a read. So it literally is like a periodic table of all the sort of powers and stuff like that for each of the characters. And last but not least, I got a birthday present from Sean, and he picked me up effectively my first hardcover book of Once and Future. And it is stunning. So I don't know if the light catches it here, but it's got that sort of raised gloss.
Yeah.
Sort of feel. I haven't even taken out the shrink wrap yet. But
one of my favorite reads, Once and Future.
Yeah. So I think this is issue 1 to 15. And obviously it's still ongoing at the minute. So I'm assuming there's going to be another one. So he's forced me into picking that up as well. So thank you so much, Sean. I really, really appreciate it. That was a lovely gift and a lovely gesture. So thank you.
Kieran Gillen and Dan Moore are absolutely killing it on that book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's all my pickups, believe it or not, guys. I just had the 4. So over to you, Tom.
Oh, thanks, mate. You didn't show my book I got you for your birthday. Not a life coach.
Oh, I'm reading it. It's next to my bed.
Yeah. So my pickups basically when I got back from holiday, from my mini moon, I had delivery from Galactic. So I got the Batman Beyond White Knight reprint, but this is the showcase.
That's the showcase, yeah.
So it's got some of like the really cool sketch work and stuff on the inside. I'm looking forward to cracking that.
That collects issue 1 and 2, doesn't it?
I think so, mate.
Yeah. Sweet.
So I'm looking forward to cracking that open and having a look. I also got issue 4 of Superman Batman World's Finest. Now I've been reading this and it's really enjoyable, but the reason I got this is because it's the first appearance of a amalgamation character where all 3 of these characters on the front get turned into one character. And that's that character's first appearance. And also it's the artwork's by Dan Mora, so I'm kind of a bit of a sucker for anything with Dan Mora on it. So I got that. I then got Do a Powerbomb issue 1. And you guys reviewed this last week, and in my opinion, this is one of my favorite books this year. Totally amazing. Absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to read a physical copy, and I'm going to get them all, I think, because I love the artwork. I think the artwork's incredible. Really chuffed with it. Really, really happy, and it's in great condition. So I'm probably going to send this first issue off to CGC just for my personal collection, because I love it. And then finally, just because I saw it going on his stall at London, I picked up Star Wars The Phantom Menace Episode 1, Issue 3, the first appearance of Cad Bane, and the first cover appearance of Darth Maul.
Nice.
Not Cad Bane. It is the first appearance of Darth Maul, sorry.
Yeah, Darth Maul. I was going to say, Darth Maul. Nice.
And it's in insane condition, so I'm looking to send that off as well.
Nice. As I'm traveling, I haven't got no pickups at all. So apologies. So that's the killer pickups. So this is the comic show sneak peek for next week, where we show you a few pages what we are reading next week. So up first, Tom, you chose.
Yeah, so I've decided to go with Ghost Cage. Now we read issue 1 quite a while back, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I think everyone else enjoyed it. I've continued to read Ghost Cage because I like the style of artwork. I like the Japanese-esque black and white monotone kind of stuff that they use in the half tones. So I'm really excited about reading issue 3 because issue 2 was pretty good. So I'm hoping that the guys are going to enjoy it just as much as I did. And we go on to enjoy issue 3 and talk about it next week. But come back next week and find out what we all thought, basically.
Yes.
And then talking of the man himself.
Indeed, Chip Zdarsky, Public Domain. I'm really intrigued to see what this is like because it had a really good synopsis. And I think it will just be something a little bit different from what we're used to. So, yeah, issue number 1 of Public Domain by Image Comics is going to be my sneak peek.
And I have gone with Mindset issue number 1. I think this was Andy's indie pick last week, or Tom, one of your keys, or I think it was Tom's key pick last week. So I've read into the synopsis of this, and I'm very much looking forward to reading this. So they are picks for next week that we'll be reading. Looking forward to that. So, but guys, that's another show done. That's another one done.
Quick question. A couple of weeks back, when we did the Killer Keys and the Indies, both me and Andy picked a book, which was by AWA Upshot, and it was a bit of an Adam and Eve thing where the apple was an iPhone. Do you remember it?
Yes, that was cool.
I read the first issue when I was on holiday, and it's a very, very uncomfortable read because it's so realistic. And I would recommend it to anyone. I'll try and find out what it's called and I'll put it on my Instagram. But it's one of those things where I was reading it thinking, this is my life. Because it talks about how the computers are like a parasite and how they control humans. And then the miniature computers are in your pocket that then control humans. And then you have iPods controls humans. And it's really quite an interesting thing. But yeah, New Think. Yes, Phil. That's the badger.
There we go.
Honestly,
that's the badger. There we go.
It's a
that's
real
the badger.
Head messer, and it
is the Adam and Eve where they're walking through the walking through the forest and the iPhone's hanging off the tree as if it's the apple, and it is an iPhone. So yeah, kind of. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it.
Read it. It's a hard read.
We've got Wakazashi Tea House joined us. He's asking if I got sunburn. No, I went and had a couple of beers on the beach earlier, and yeah, I probably got a little bit of a sunburn, but work perks, so I'm living that. And then we've got Leon Russell. By the way, everyone should see Mark Oldroyd's new video when they get a chance. I enjoyed watching his gleeful little face as he laid out his latest big score. I'm not sure if that's a euphemism or anything, but yeah, so I'll head over there and look for Mark's gleeful little face as he lays out his big score. But yeah, there we go. That's another Thursday down. Thank you to every single person that's been in the chat for the last hour and 45 minutes. Hopefully next week I will be in the luxury of my own home. If not, I'll be in Exeter premiering, giving you the finest entertainment you can get on a Thursday night with these two sexy men, Andy and Tom, aka Big Rig and Perpetual Comics. Guys, I love doing this with you every single week. It's always a pleasure. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you for everyone that takes the time to watch the show. Place the votes. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. You know the coup. Boys, got anything else to add?
Yeah, again, like Charlie said, every week, thank you for joining us, guys. And all the thank yous, guys. Thank you for all the congratulations messages that I've got over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I feel much loved. Thank you all for coming to the show and sticking with us for an hour and 46 minutes. It is, we do this because we enjoy it with talking to each other. But having you guys here too really does add to it. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And all our American friends can have a wonderful 4th of July on Monday.
On Monday. Guys, it's been wicked. Ed Vic, you're late, but you know what to do. Hit the replay button, give us the thumbs up, and post a comment. Guys, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for everyone joining. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Stay safe. Stay sexy.